Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission here is pretty straightforward. We dig through sources, research, personal accounts,
Hmm.
all sorts of things, really, and we pull out what's crucial, what you need to know, so you can get informed fast. Today, though, we're heading into some, let's say, sensitive territory, something that might feel very close to home for some of you.
That's right. We're talking about those moments, those dynamics where the people you trust, most your family actually, make you doubt yourself, your reality, even your sanity. It's about how words, how actions in a family can have this really profound, sometimes damaging impact, especially when something just feels wrong,
Uh,
deeply wrong.
and have you ever been there, where your gut is just screaming that something isn't right? Maybe it was genuinely hurtful or unfair, but when you try to say something, you get hit with, oh, you're just too sensitive, or you're overthinking things again. That specific phrase, too sensitive. It's so common, isn't it, what's
Yeah.
actually going on there when someone uses that, especially in a family context.
Well, it's interesting because often being told you're too sensitive really means you're the one who's actually noticing something. You're tuned into a reality that maybe others are trying hard to ignore or deny. So that phrase, it often works like a shield, doesn't it? A cover for maybe some deeper emotional manipulation. It happens a lot when only one person sees the problem or, well, feels the emotional impact of it. Your sensitivity isn't the flaw there. It's more like a compass pointing at a truth that makes others uncomfortable.
Hmm, compass. I like that. It reminds me of this story I came across in the sources. It stopped me on my tracks. It was about someone who ended up going to rehab, but not for the reasons you might think, not addiction or, typical instability. It was because they felt, and this is a direct quote, trapped in a house full of emotional chaos. Their family apparently fought constantly over tiny things, but they'd always excuse it, saying it was just religion or a part of our culture. It just sounds exhausting and heartbreaking.
It really does. And the truly insidious part, the paradox, is right there. When that person inevitably reacted to the chaos, I mean, who wouldn't feel overwhelmed or upset? They were the ones labeled as the problem. Their very normal human reaction to a completely unhealthy environment was turned against them, made out to be the issue itself.
Exactly. Which makes you think about the double standards, right? Because in this same story, this person's sibling was apparently doing things that most people would agree are, wrong,
Yeah.
skipping school, lying about it, sneaking around. But that sibling somehow got more freedom, more leeway. While the one who was emotionally aware, the quote-unquote sensitive one, they were the one being restricted, confined. For their safety, supposedly. It just feels
Yeah.
so backwards.
It absolutely is backwards. And that kind of environment, it creates such deep confusion. It chips away at your ability to trust what you see and feel. It can genuinely lead people to believe deep down that they are broken, that something is fundamentally wrong with them, when in reality, they're just feeling. They're reacting appropriately to things the rest of the family is refusing to even look at. It's not just denying things happen, it's like systematically making you feel unreliable in your own life story.
Yeah. And it's not always about that kind of um, loud, constant fighting either, is
Yeah.
it? There's another really powerful example of this.
Yeah.
Maybe quieter. Family gaslighting we see quite a bit, like fathers who just disappear for years sometimes,
Yeah.
basically ghosting their own families. And then maybe they reappear, expecting everything to be fine. Like they can just
Right.
walk back in and be welcomed with open arms as if nothing happened.
Oh, absolutely. And the emotional weight of that is just huge. Because what often happens next, the person who was abandoned, they might then get blamed. Why didn't you call? You're the one who cut ties. Even though the father was the one who left in the first place. It's emotional gaslighting, plain and simple, but on a family scale. They shift the blame for their own actions onto the person they hurt, forcing them to deny their own pain just to keep some kind of peace.
Oh. And then if you actually try to talk about these patterns, if you try to bring up what really happened, the history, what do you hear? It's always you're living in the past.
Oh.
Or that old favorite, you're just overthinking it. It's so dismissive, isn't it? But for the person who lived through it, it's not overthinking. I mean, it feels more like, no, I'm remembering it. I'm seeing the patterns you all pretend aren't there.
You've really hit on something crucial there. There's actually a term for this phenomenon. Sometimes it's called family amnesia. It's like this collective, often unconscious agreement within the family system to just suppress or minimize things that are painful or uncomfortable from the past, especially things like neglect or abuse. So if someone who caused harm comes back into the picture, everyone might just act like the past didn't happen. It lets them avoid confrontation, right? Keep up appearances. But it leaves the person who does remember, the aware one, carrying all that unprocessed pain, all alone, feeling isolated, even crazy in their truth.
And What happens if you refuse to play that game? If you don't go along with the family amnesia, what's the cost? You get pushed out, don't you? Labeled the outsider. Or you're too emotional. Or maybe you're just holding on to things, holding grudges while everyone else has supposedly moved on. It's like your reality, your truth, is just too inconvenient for their shared delusion.
Exactly. But it's so important to understand that kind of awareness, remembering what happened. It isn't bitterness, not usually. It's survival. It really is. It means you're seeing the red flags now, you recognize the patterns, and you're refusing, quite rightly, to be blind again to the things that hurt you before. It's a fundamental act of self-protection.
So, okay, if you're listening to this right now,
Hmm.
and any of this is hitting home, if you've been told your feelings are too much, or your sensitivity is actually the problem, or,
Wow.
yeah, that you're just overthinking things.
Please just know this. You are absolutely not alone in this. You're not being dramatic,
Yeah,
and you are definitely not
well,
broken.
maybe. Maybe you're just waking up.
Yeah.
And honestly, that can be terrifying for people who'd rather stay asleep.
Mm-hmm. Holding on to your truth, your reality, especially when your family, the very people who should support you, are trying to convince you otherwise.
Hmm.
That takes incredible strength. It's choosing what's real over some kind of manufactured piece. And that takes courage. So much courage.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. It's definitely been a heavy one, exploring these emotional truths within families. We really hope it gives you something to think about. We encourage you to keep exploring these things for yourself and always trust your own compass.